Yat e shikedo shidene she'el tchahasilo. I want to say Yat e to all of my good, beautiful, and intelligent Navajo relatives, far and near. I also want to say Ahiyeha to all of you for taking the time to listen to Pay Your Bills 2.0. I decided to share some things with you once more in this presentation because I feel that you are not getting information at all. Not only are you not getting information, such important free information is being suppressed. They're being hidden. Or nobody really wants to talk about it, especially in Window Rock, Arizona. There's an atmosphere of secrecy in Window Rock today, if you have not noticed. There's a dark cloud over Window Rock, Arizona today. But there's no rain. And so today, I wanted to share some things here with you. In Navajo, we have achieved a state of Yowet Ao Tota. Yowet Ao Tota. We have achieved that state among our nation, especially with our Navajo Nation government. What does that mean? Yowet Ao Tota. Unfortunately, the English language falls way short of describing exactly what those two words mean. But it means something along the lines of, we are in a state of disbelief. We are in a state of shock. We are in a state of the fullest extent of dissatisfaction. In a way, that's what it means. Our people use those words to describe their thoughts and their feelings, to express that state of feeling that we have today. Yowet Ao Tota. And today, I present some things to you once more. On April the 4th, I presented facts. I presented enlightenment on certain things concerning our Navajo Nation government. But a specific part of our Navajo Nation government. I told you that we have vendors that have not been paid for years now. I told you about vendors who've been requesting, who've been practically begging to be paid for the work that they were asked to do. Not only for Navajo Nation projects, but for specific favors of elected Navajo Nation officials. And they were not paid. They were stiffed. And I brought that out. I told you about some of the players, and I told you about the pain and the suffering these Navajo vendors are going through. And there are numerous non-Navajo vendors as well. Oftentimes, as Navajos, we pride ourselves in the fact that, and even the Navajo Nation Supreme Court has affirmed the theme, the notion, and the understanding that words are sacred. If you make a contract, it's sacred. If you ask somebody to do something for you and you promise to pay them, the sacredness of that word is sacred. It's still sacred here within the 4 sacred mountains. That sacredness is embedded in our prayers, because it's really what you're saying is so digin. Our tongue is sacred, our words are sacred. So when we say so digin, we say so tizin. That's our prayer. Words are still sacred here. After the April 4th video that I released, my phone started lighting up. Council delegates, program managers, division directors, and numerous other people started calling me. And in a way, you and I started a firestorm. A firestorm for truth. A firestorm for facts. A firestorm for transparency and accountability. And so from April the 4th to this day, I wanted to give you an update of what is going on concerning our pay your bills. One good thing that started out of the April 4th presentation was that I call it today the pay your bills movement. There is actually a sticker that says that. Pay your bills. And the pay your bills movement is very simple. If you ask somebody to do something for you and you promise to pay them, you better pay that. Not 10 years, 20 years, but immediately. Real simple. Nothing hard about it. Take the responsibility to tend to your bills. Because the vendor that you're stiffing has a family. The vendor that you ask to do something for you has a family. They have bills to pay. They have food to put on the table. Just like everybody else, especially just like the Navajo leaders who are entrusted and given that authority to approve, sign, and get those checks printed and payment can be made. Just like them. Now here's the deal. If any one of them, beginning with the Navajo Nation President, the Attorney General, the Speaker of the Navajo Nation Council, council delegates, division directors, program managers, whom have you, who have the authority and the entrustment of trust to process this. If their pay was withheld for one pay period, if something was withheld, even 5 cents, it's a major crisis. Council delegates are going to ask their LDAs, you better get my $5. They shortchanged me $5. Go stand in line at the finance office. The Navajo Nation President, the Chief of Staff, do something. They shortchanged me. They didn't pay me for this. That's what goes on. But yet, these vendors, these files here, some of them haven't even been paid for years. Lots of money. That's the state of affairs. You wait up, tota. When the April 4th video was released, Immediately thereafter, the Navajo Nation Council went into the spring session. On Monday of the spring session 2025, the controller of the Navajo Nation, Mr. Sean McCabe, was brought before the Navajo Nation Council. He was asked point blank, and it was on video, and many of you copied it and posted it on your Facebook pages. He was point blank out asked, "Did Justin Jones is Justin Jones correct in his allegation that we owe people money, we're stiffing people? Is that true?" And my brother, Mr. McCabe, calmly says, "Yes, it is true." The next question: who are these people that are doing that? Can you tell us who these people that are stiffing people? My brother's response was, all the leaders that are in the upper echelon of the Navajo Nation government, all of the leaders that are in the upper echelon of the Navajo Nation government, that means the president, the speaker, the chief justice, and everybody thereafter. Third question. Why is it like this? What happened? What's going on? What's the problem here, Mr. Controller? Very calmly, my brother says, it is because it begins with this. The first reason why we are in this state of affairs is because you elected leaders, the Navajo Nation president, his staff, the Navajo Nation Council, the speaker, the chief justice, everybody, they don't follow the law. The law. The law is very specific in how a request is being made, and it goes through the channel of an approval process that takes place. A coding takes place to secure the sufficient funding for what is requested of. All that is thrown to the side. And who are the culprits? The upper echelon of the Navajo Nation government. They don't follow the law. That was the reason, and the main reason that was given to them. During that council session, many of you were watching. Thereafter, nobody knew what to say. There was no leadership there. Nobody said, hey, this is how we're going to fix it. This is what we're going to do. Nothing. Zero. Of course, bunch of hot air again on the council floor. Point of order. Point of privilege. Back and forth. But nothing came out of it. At then, zero. Bless his heart, my brother says, the controller of the Navajo Nation, I will give you something. At least he gave some sort of relief or some sort of a leadership of a direction when everybody else didn't know what to say. I'm going to personally take responsibility for these. Although all of these, they were promised to pay contracts. The upper echelon of leadership said, do this for me, do this for us, we will pay you, I promise you. I will take responsibility for this, and I'm going to start soliciting all of these from the vendors, invoices. And I'm also going to take up an ad in the Navajo Times requesting giving notice to all the vendors who are owed money by the Navajo Nation to personally send those documents to me. And I will begin working on it. One of the culprits, again, think about it. Oh, promise to pay doesn't work here. It's not part of our system. It's not in law here. Where is it at? You need a contract. Oh, really? You can't have it both ways, people. Hello? From that day onwards, nothing has been accomplished. Absolutely nothing. There's been no oversight hearings on it. There's been no legislation whatsoever. Not then. It just fell by the wayside again. It continues and it continues. And the swamp still gets deeper and deeper today. It's still like that. So now, today, I still have a stack of invoices. So I'm going to present some of these invoices to you, my relatives, with the intent that I'm going to be forwarding these invoices to you, Brother Sean McCabe. I'm going to hold you to your word that these invoices need to be paid. No and, ifs, or buts. And it gets really bad as I read through these invoices. The promise to pay and what these services were rendered for these particular people. It's sickening. It's beyond Yahweh et al. At this point. So, I have a stack of invoices here that I selected among stacks of them. That I feel you as the Navajo people need to know this. I cannot imagine and even conceive why none of our leaders would just come out and tell you what's going on. What's the big secrecy? These invoices are for real things that took place. Why the big secrecy? My only conclusion today is because you have dirty hands yourselves. It's not like these invoices contain nuclear launch codes. They're just invoices for something that took place. But the breadth and parameters and the reasons why services were rendered for those particular people, it's disgusting. First invoice. House renovation and construction, Red Mesa, Arizona. The home of the Navajo Nation President, Boo Nygren. $3,000. Second invoice. The Office of the President. Lighting upgrades. Materials. Labor. $2,232. Oh, here's another one. Upgrades, renovation, and construction. Red Mesa home, Navajo Nation president's home, Red Mesa, Arizona. $1,865.60. Installation of cameras and security, Navajo Nation president's home, $3,180. At this point, you're probably wondering, wait a minute. I said, wait a minute. Wasn't the Navajo Nation president asked at one of the Nabikiat meetings, point blank, was your private home in Red Mesa worked on utilizing Navajo Nation dollars? Was there any upgrades, renovations, construction that took place? My God, the man avoided the question, but he snuck it in there to where to say, no, it was not. Last week, during the council session, before he stormed out and pouted again, was your private home worked on utilizing Navajo Nation dollars and contractors? And his answer was no. Yep, you see the pattern? Although the man wasn't under oath, we were all watching. Okay, just an invoice. Let's check this out. Here's a picture of the home. Another picture. Several pictures. This one's even in color. Some more pictures. More pictures. Here's another picture of his home being worked on. One of these pictures has a mesa in the back. That mesa in Navajo is called Tuotetahazkan. So if you're standing on the north end of Boo Nygren's house and taking a picture facing south, you see that mesa. How do I know that? Because I grew up over the hill. That's where my grandma's and my chays and my mom is from. That's how I know. So these are pictures to substantiate that this house was being worked on. And who is billed and who is going to be left to pay the bill? The Navajo Nation government. Let's make it even better. I have copies of text messages here. Remember, for those of you that want to inquire even more, the last three numbers, I'm not going to give you the whole number. I'm going to give you the last three numbers of this text message where it came from is 908. January 30th, 2024. This is Boo. Give me a ring. Texting one of the contractors. April the 12th, 2024. Hello, Mr. President. I received a phone call from Winderock last week. A lady saying the contract I was awarded for Sports Center was shredded by Mike Halona and his assistant. And I'm going to inform the council of what happened. And then I received another call. Stephen Arviso and Ricky Nez were informed. I informed the chief of staff, but he has not replied. I tallied up my open invoices for the Navajo Nation, and I have 42 unpaid invoices. You need to be informed of this, Mr. President. What departments owe you? Good morning, Mr. President. I don't know the department below is a list, but here's the list. OPVP, Thomas Cody, Business Regulatory, Natural Resources, Fairgrounds, Torreon Star Lake Chapter, Round Rock Chapter, Chief of Staff's House, ARPA Buildings, Miss Navajo Nation. I did work at all of these sites. Good morning, Mr. President. I really need your help with these open invoices. They are over 600 days past due. I have done what you requested by working with your Chief of Staff, Patrick, but no results. Not $1 has been paid up. Please help me, brother. Obviously trying to be a brother to the president. But my point being is that the president knew about it, the chief of staff knew about it, the president's staff knew about it, council delegates know about it. A lot of people know about this. Good morning, Mr. President. I'm looking forward to meeting with you and hand deliver all documents per our conversation. To date, I have 70 unpaid invoices. I'm needing your help to resolve these issues. Thank you, Mr. President. The president says, good morning. Let me follow up. I know Patrick has been making progress, but I am on travel. And it goes on and on. This is real. This is completely real. These are offices that have been worked on, upgraded, however way they made it posh and luxurious. Here's one for Tom Platero at the Department of Transportation, $2,544. The president needed an upgrade. Apparently, maybe the internet's not strong enough to carry his photos and other things. $2,809. Here's a good one. The lighting wasn't good enough in the president's office, apparently, and needed to be retrofitted, and only in his office, $30,655.20. Needed repair in L. Ray Nelson's office. Apparently he's back on it again. Maybe he needs another. This invoice is for $1,563.50 to upgrade L. Ray Nelson's lighting fixtures. So those of you that are doing the budget, you better find $1,563.50 because L. Ray Nelson's back. Here's another one. There were weekend activities on the Veterans Grounds in front of the President's office, requested by Chief of Staff Patrick Sandoval and L. Ray Nelson. We need a generator for entertainment. Gas, cords, $3,180. Oh, this one's a good one. An invoice approved by the Chief of Staff and the President for the unconfirmed Executive Director, Tony Skroulonis, of the Division of Economic Development. This is to upgrade his office. To upgrade his office. $36,633.60. Wow. An unconfirmed division director can still get an upgrade of an office. That's the Navajo Nation for you today. Then it gets good from here. Apparently, the Navajo Nation president is scared of somebody or something that he feels that he needs security system in his house in Window Rock. So it begins. Cameras, monitors, motion sensors, and all of the Wi-Fi equipment to support such a security system. $3,981.44. Here's another one for $6,890. When the president totally thumbed his nose at the Navajo Nation Council, he had his own little shindig. Work needed to be put into that shindig. The State of the Union. Sorry, it's called the State of the Nation, I guess. We're not the United States of America. $9,593. This one's a good one. This was work that was performed for Mike Halona's sister-in-law. Remember, Mike Halona, no vote of confidence last week, and to be removed. The guy's still running around Window Rock. This is for his sister-in-law, Heather Yazzie, in Smith Lakes. House renovation and remodeling. Billed to the Navajo Nation, $8,480. It gets even better. Now, we're starting construction and work on the former Chief of Staff's home, Patrick Sandoval, in Ganado. $5,830. $1,086.50. $3,869. Construction, renovation, upgrade, security installations, electrical work, Installation of air conditioners, $2,385. Sealant on his driveway so he doesn't slip on ice, $1,749. Apparently, his dryer didn't work. $795 to fix his dryer. Upgrades, construction, renovation, $8,480 for the Chief of Staff, Patrick Sandoval. And the list goes on. Installation of a restroom heater. Apparently it gets cold. Maybe the toilet water freezes, who knows? $2,650. Another upgrade, renovation, $2,385. Apparently, the fiber optic network system and the internet wasn't strong enough for the Chief of Staff at the time. Installation of a Starlink internet system, $699. Wow. Wouldn't we want a Starlink at our homes, out on the res? Expenses and cash loan to President Nygren for expenses to the Arizona State High School basketball tournament, $1,000. Cash loan and expenses for a medicine man on behalf of President Boo Nygren. Prayer, buckskins, baskets, $5,000. I think some of us are in the wrong business here. $5,000 to a medicine man. I think some of you already know who these medicine men are. Cash loan and expenses. I'll save this one. Emergency fees for medicine man, protection prayer, / road man. So I presume that there's the medicine man / road man NAC ceremony. I can't imagine who this person would be. $4,000. I can't imagine what this one is. $1,500 for a present for Boo Nygren's birthday. A $1,500 birthday present for the president. Wow. Out-of-state spending for a trip by the Navajo Nation president, $3,000. All of these invoices are invoiced to the Navajo Nation to be paid by the Navajo Nation. Apparently, the former Chief of Staff wanted a new engine. $2,000 for a new engine. He needed new tires that was on point. I'm sure there's a lot of wear and tear driving back and forth between Winter Rock and Ganado. $1,000. Apparently his transmission went out too. $3,000 for a transmission. And this is the icing on the cake. Invoice, $3,000. Purpose of the expense and cash loan. To get out of town because the president was sick of her shit. President needed to get away for his expenses and travel. After an argument with wife, $3,000. This has got to be the low of the low. If the Navajo Nation is going to pay us $3,000, maybe some of us, we need to intentionally get in an argument with our wives to say, hey, honey, let's get in an argument here. Because the Navajo Nation can pay you $3,000. This is absolutely disgusting. This is what people are trying to hide. This is what is happening with the Navajo Nation government today. Absolutely disgusting. And as I said before, loads and loads of proof and evidence that it could be criminally prosecuted and prosecuted under the Navajo Nation Ethics and Rules Office. Wow. Meanwhile, the enforcers, the checks and balance on such absurd, selfish practices, they're not. They don't have clean hands. Immediately after the April 4 video, during the Navajo Nation Council session, the first thing that was thrown out on the council floor is that, oh, no, that's across the street over here. That's the executive branch. Us legislative branch, we have clean hands here. We're fine. We don't owe a penny to nobody. We pay our own bills. Really? An invoice addressed to Dear Chief of Staff Manuel Rico, I'm reaching out to you to address an important matter regarding the overdue invoices associated with the Navajo Nation and the Cowboy Lifestyle Network. Pursuant to our contract for the beginning February 14, 2022 and ending September 30th, 2022. We have not received payment of $261,600. Can't even imagine what the Navajo Nation Council is doing or has done to incur expenses of $200,000+ with the Cowboy Lifestyle Network. This is the interesting part, my relatives. This invoice is stemming from the 24th Navajo Nation Council. They failed to pay it, and now you have the 25th Navajo Nation Council who has not paid this invoice. So that maybe just one invoice, but it begs the question, why is it such a secret, and why is it impossible to conduct the speaker's audit and release the information? What is so secret about it? Everybody else is audited. Why not the speaker's audit? From the 24th Council and to the 25th Council. My relatives, I think that we can't just stand by and watch. We can't just talk about it amongst ourselves. Something has to give. There is a sense of secrecy in Windrock as we speak. There's a hush-hush atmosphere there now. Especially after the Ginny Holmes scandal that is blowing every day. But we need to compel our elected official to say, what the F? What is the problem? What is going on? About 2 weekends ago, a press release was released by the Navajo Nation Council indicating that a special prosecutor was going to be secured and an application pursuant to law was going to be submitted to the Special Division of the Navajo Nation Windrock District Court, who would take it over from there and find the special prosecutor, contract the special prosecutor, and the special prosecutor begins the work. The question is, it's been 2 weeks. The law simply says once the application is dropped with the special division, they have 10 days. It's more than 10 days. Where is the special prosecutor? What is being covered up? Why is there delay? Why do people that are in charge of these parameters, the lawyers, the legislators, the staff, you need to ask yourselves that. But ask your elected official, what the F? So, I'm going to send this stack of invoices to you, brother, Sean McCabe. I'm going to hold you to your word. Before you resign again, I lost count. Is it like your 20th resignation now? I need you to tend to this personally as you have vowed. These vendors need to be paid. After the April 4th video, one day, sitting in my office, I was told that some agents were in the house here at the office. I walked out, and it was the Navajo Nation White Collar Crime Unit. I said, "Yate, are you guys lost?" "No, Mr. Jones, we're serving you a subpoena." "Oh, really? What are you subpoenaing?" "We're subpoenaing everything that you talked about on your video, and we're going to give you 20 days to deliver it to us." And I smiled. And I said, "Sorry, guys. The FBI and the U.S. Marshal's Office already beat you to it." And I still smiled. They left, gave me a couple of days, drafted a response, essentially told them, sorry. I don't know who's legally advising you over there. But the law is very explicit. The Navajo Nation Supreme Court even has an opinion on this. You cannot just serve a subpoena without any legal action. That's like basic law. What legal action do you have? You have nothing. Number two, guess what? I'm going to sue you, the Navajo Nation. Do you think that because I know that that's what's going to happen, I'm just going to give you all these documents? You got to get it from me through discovery. That was May. It's August now. It's all quiet. Just the other day, I was informed by some of my clients, the Ethics and Rules Office were hounding them. This is the Ethics and Rules Office. We are conducting an investigation. Please make an arrangement to come meet with us. We have some things to discuss with you. So my clients told them, oh yeah? Call our lawyer. We're being represented by the law offices of Justin Jones. As of today, August this 2nd, I have not received a call from the Ethics and Rules Office. To make matters worse, add insult to injury, one of my clients received an email from the Navajo Nation's favorite external law firm, Jenner and Block, Washington, D.C. And I quote, "Hello, we represent the Navajo Nation and have received and reviewed certain invoices that have been submitted to the Controller's Office for work done on the homes of certain individuals. Can we please schedule a meeting to discuss these invoices?" First of all, why in the heck would the Navajo Nation contract DC lawyers, DC law firms, who obviously charge like over $500 an hour, to review invoices? Come on. And I quote, again, submitted to the Controller's Office for work done on the homes of certain individuals. This is where it gets good. These invoices, the stacks that I have here, are the only invoices that exist. And not one page of those invoices have been submitted to the Controller's Office. So how do you know that invoices for certain work done on certain individuals, why don't you just say the president? But guess what? Those invoices have not been submitted to the Controller's Office. If some of you are thinking, bing, you are absolutely correct. So, I'll make it easy. White Collar Crime Unit, Ethics and Rules, and you lawyers from Jenner and Block. Once Sean McCabe gets these documents, go over to him. Maybe take him a roast mutton sandwich or something. Take him a cup of coffee. Say, yo, Sean, we heard on the video that Justin Jones gave you those invoices. Can we have copies of them? That's how easy I'm going to make it for you. In the meantime, I am going to give you 30 days to pay these invoices. And if those 30 days elapse and my clients are not paid, we'll go to the next level. Because it's high time that we start enforcing the law. If the elected officials cannot do it, it's going to have to be us who have to do it. Corruption is rampant all over the Navajo Nation government. There is a dark cloud that hangs over Window Rock today. And I hope and pray, as we diligently represent our clients to be paid, that such corruption does not seep into the judicial process that we're going to undertake and utilize. But we shall see. Ishjashi. There's something very easy here too also. All the money that the white collar crime unit, ethics and rules, and now the all notorious expensive DC law firm, that the money that they're being paid, if you were to take that money, you probably could pay off more than half of what is being owed to these people. But yet, the Navajo Nation government decides to spend hundreds and thousands of dollars on stupid maneuvering and initiatives to cover their behinds just because they owe money. So that is pay your bills 2.0 today, my good relatives. I am honored and privileged to share some of this information with you. I'm honored and privileged because this is your money. This government belongs to you. You are the bosses of these elected officials. You deserve to know this. You deserve to be privy to this. You have the right and respect for your elected officials to tell you about all of this rather than being secretive. You deserve that. And I'm more than willing and honored and privileged today to share all this information with you. And the saga continues. Thank you for your kind attention, and may the holy people always be with you. Yeah.